In this video, we're going to cover the single target and AoE strategies for combat rogues. Before we delve too much into the single target and AoE rotations for combat rogues, let's review the talent called Bandit's Guile one more time. To recap the way it works, actually it'd be better to demonstrate it on a target dummy. Whenever you use Sinister Strike, you have a chance to gain an insight buff. Okay, we just gained the Shallow Insight, which increases our damage 10%. The way that this works is the more often you spam Sinister Strike and Revealing Strike, the greater the chances are that you'll gain an insight buff, or your existing insight buff will become stronger. As you can see right now, this is the strongest insight buff you can have. It's called Deep Insight. Now, in order to maintain this buff, you have to keep spamming Sinister Strike as much as possible, or it'll drop off like that. Now let's look at an example scenario where you want to take your existing combo points and your existing insight and move it to another target. That's where the ability called Redirect comes in. Right now you can see I have a moderate insight, target another mob, and then immediately use Redirect, and it'll transfer all of your combo points and your insight to the other target. The thing about this ability, it has a fairly lengthy 1-minute cooldown, so realistically you can expect to use this talent about once every pull. But that's how Bandit's Guile works in a nutshell. Let's talk about the combat rogue single target strategy. There are a number of topics we want to cover. Let's start with the first one, which is, you can see it on the screen right now, it's a rule of thumb that says when you have 4 combo points, use Revealing Strike, followed by either Rupture or Eviscerate. If you look at the tooltip for Rupture, the way it works is it's a single target ability, sort of like Sinister Strike, that grants you 1 combo point, but it also places a debuff on the target that causes your next offensive finishing move to do 35% more damage. So it makes sense that if you have 4 combo points, you want to use Revealing Strike, which will put you up to 5 combo points and make your 5 combo point finisher 35% more effective. There is one caveat to this point that we want to take into consideration. It revolves around the glyph of Sinister Strike. Say, for example, you're spamming Sinister Strike and you reach 3 combo points, then you spam another Sinister Strike. There's a chance it'll push you from 3 combo points to 5. When you're in that situation, you have to ask yourself, okay, I have 5 combo points. Do I want to waste a Revealing Strike while I have 5 combo points and then use a finisher? Or do I want to forego the Revealing Strike and just use a 5 combo point finisher? I did some research and I couldn't really find a very conclusive answer to this. What I usually do, if I reach 5, if this glyph of Sinister Strike kicks in and it bumps me from 3 combo points to 5, I'll just use a 5 combo point finisher. I'm just not comfortable using Revealing Strike without the clear benefit of it giving me a combo point. So in a nutshell, if you're using this glyph and if you have 5 combo points, consider just using the finisher right away without the benefit of Revealing Strike. Let's move on to the next guideline, which is that you rarely need to use more than about 3 combo points on Slice and Dice. Usually 2 to 3 is fine. Unless you're in a really, really long fight, like a raid boss fight or something like that, then it could be argued that the extra, 10 or 12 seconds would pay off. But from what I've seen in my experimentation, 2 to 3 is usually plenty. The next guideline is especially important. It revolves around intelligently using Blade Flurry or intelligently not using it. If you're ever in a pull where there's only one target, you have to make absolute sure that you have Blade Flurry off. If you read the tooltip for Blade Flurry, it says while active, the rogue's attacks strike an additional nearby opponent, but energy regeneration is reduced by 15%. So if you're attacking a single target, Blade Flurry works against you. because your energy regeneration is reduced. So I've had some problems sometimes when I go into a pull, trash pull, then we go into a boss. Sometimes I'll forget that I still have Blade Flurry on, but it's something that you really want to not forget if possible. Let's very briefly go over one more guideline. It revolves around using Adrenaline Rush. What Adrenaline Rush does is it greatly increases your energy regeneration. That said, it makes more sense to save Adrenaline Rush for a moment when you are either completely out of energy or you're running out of energy. That way you see more benefit from using the ability. It's more useful to use it that way than to, for example, use it right at the beginning of a pull when you have full energy. Okay, great. Let's move on to the single target rotation. You can see on the screen right now the opener for the single target rotation. It's a 4-step process. The first 3 steps have us spamming Sinister Strike until we have 3 combo points, and then we'll use those 3 combo points to get our Slice and Dice buff up. The rest of the rotation from this point on amounts to following the guidelines that we just covered. You can see those guidelines on the screen right now. Let's go ahead and demonstrate the single target rotation on this target dummy. So we're going to go ahead and open up by spamming Sinister Strike 3 times. We have 3 combo points. Use those on Slice and Dice, and then go back to spamming Sinister Strike like this until we have 4 combo points. On the 4th combo point, we want to use Revealing Strike and then get a Rupture dot up. Go back to spamming Sinister Strike. We have 4. Use Revealing Strike, Eviscerate. Go back to spamming Sinister Strike again. We're going to spend those 3 on another Slice and Dice. Go back to spamming Sinister Strike again like this. Notice that we're running a bit low on energy. Okay, get another Rupture up. Sinister Strike, Adrenaline Rush, Revealing Strike, Eviscerate, and then go back to, we have Adrenaline Rush up, so we want to spam as fast as we can. Eviscerate, spam Sinister Strike until we have 4 combo points, Revealing Strike again, get another Rupture up like this, and as you can see, it's pretty predictable, this rotation is. The one thing you really want to keep your eye out for is when you have 4 combo points. In this particular example, we haven't seen the problem that I described earlier of going from 3 combo points to 5 because of the glyph of Sinister Strike. I guess we're just lucking out. We actually just did it there, if you noticed. In that case, I didn't use Revealing Strike, I just used the 5 combo points on a Rupture. Okay, that is the single target rotation in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and briefly cover the AoE strategy for combat rogues. The only difference between the AoE strategy and the single target strategy is that in the AoE strategy, you'll have Blade Flurry up. Other than that, they're pretty much identical. There is one exception I'd like to point out when it comes to using Fan of Knives. It's okay to use Fan of Knives, but I recommend only using it when you have a very large pack of mobs, like a pack with 8 individual targets or greater. Other than that, it's almost identical. You just use Blade Flurry in the case of an AoE pull. Now that we've covered the single target and AoE strategies for combat rogues, let's walk through a real-life example in the context of a 5-man dungeon.